To take a stroll through Lafayette streets and enjoy watching the leaves change color in the fall or catching a little shade from the hot summer sun, there is a group of volunteers making sure that the trees we enjoy stay healthy. Two of those volunteers were recently recognized by the state of Indiana for their dedication to urban forestry. As Gina Quattrochi reports in tonight's Heroes Among Us, we'll show you how these two men make a weekly date to improve Lafayette's landscape.
Gonna take a slow one here off.
Yeah.
Larry Rose and Greg Shaner might look at trees with a slightly more critical eye than most of us. They look for balance, how low a limb is hanging, and whether the effects of weather or something else like a large truck has made a rough cut at a branch, leaving the tree more readily open to insects and fungus. Both are volunteers with TreeLafayette, a group focused on taking care of the trees that line Lafayette City streets and neighborhoods and planting more where trees are needed. The group focuses on major corridors.
Like Ferry Street, South Street, Main Street, Cassuth Street. We did Greenbush this year.
Larry and Greg are pruning this 30-year-old red maple along Ferry Street near Duncan Hall. The tree has limbs that are hanging too low according to city ordinance. Several other branches will need to be cut off so new growth can start.
I grew up on a farm that had maybe 10 acres of trees, and my best days were in the woods.
When Larry Rose retired and moved back to Lafayette, he got started with TreeLafayette. The group relies on donations. This year alone, they pruned 300 and planted 177.
It takes 7 trees per person to breathe filtered air.
Trees in the city balance emissions from cars and provide protection between people on the sidewalk and the road. But it's the small space where the trees grow that make it tough.
It's a pretty rough habitat for them. You can see we've got pavement here, we've got concrete over there, and just a little bit of green space, and this tree is trying to grow.
Greg Shaner is a retired Purdue professor. He spent 40 years working with field crops only to return to his first interest in forestry.
Getting back thoroughly into trees, where I kind of started out, and the people are a lot of fun to work with. A whole bunch of old retired guys for the most part.
The group is taking inventory of the trees in Lafayette to predict what kind and where more will be needed. Only 10% of one type of tree is planted on each city block, so if one species is attacked by insect or fungus, 90% of the trees will remain.
Primarily emerald ash borer is coming, and we're going to lose all the ash trees, so we want to know how many ash trees we're going to be losing. We have the Asian longhorn beetle that may be hitting Lafayette sometime in the future, and they take care of all the maple trees like this one here behind me. You got to keep it going. Just got to keep it going. Right now we're removing more hazardous trees than we're planting.
That was Gina Quattrochi reporting. Both men were honored by the Indiana Urban Forest Council for their volunteer work through TreeLafayette.